Why did they take all your guns away?
Oh, Trudeau did it. And he was very successful to do that. Trudeau doesn't want us to defend ourselves. And that's why in our platform, we have the Castle Doctrine. You must be able to have a gun. You must be able to defend yourself and your property with that. We need to change our criminal code for that. And our position as a political party, we will repeal every legislation that Trudeau put in to be sure that he will eliminate all the guns. But for him, and for the conservative also on guns, they're dangerous. People are not responsible. They must not have guns. So that's why we have very tough legislation on guns in Canada.
I noticed
and they don't respect property rights on gun. The federal government can decide tomorrow and with a new regulation, this gun is illegal, and the RCMP or police will go and seize your gun.
You're very heavily armed. I've had a couple encounters with Canadian law enforcement over the years, bad encounters, and boy, they're heavily armed and very aggressive. Very aggressive. They're not the kind of polite Canadians you think about. RCMP is like not anyone to mess with. They seem like a military force to me.
But now they're a woke organization.
I know.
The leader of the RCMP, they're woke, now in the RCMP and in the Canadian forces, you can be a soldier for us without being a Canadian citizen.
What?
Without being a Canadian citizen, you're an immigrant. You can participate in the Canadian forces.
So you're not a citizen of Canada, but they'll hand you an automatic weapon?
And defend our country that you don't know.
But a Canadian citizen can't have a gun at home. But they'll give some foreigner an automatic weapon, a fully automatic machine gun.
A very dangerous one, yeah.
Okay. I wonder at a certain point, and clearly Trudeau and Poilievre and the rest of them, Carney, think this too, but like, how far can you push people before, they respond in an unreasonable, violent way? I mean, if this wasn't Canada, if it was any other country, I would say, boy, they're going to get a revolution if they're not careful. Like, you can't oppress people like this. Yeah. You can't offer them suicide instead of healthcare. You can't flood their societies with foreigners. You can't destroy their standard of living. You can't throw them in jail for expressing opinions without provoking like a violent response. Are they worried about that? Is that why they took your guns away?
If they're worried about that, I'm not worried about that as a leader of a...
I'm against violent revolution, just for the record.
I'm against also that. No, it will be, the revolution will come when people would be ready, and it's happening right now. You can see the change. You can see we have more support as a new political party. People understand the battle that we are doing. And I believe it would be a quiet revolution. They're going to say, enough is enough. And that will happen. But as soon, I don't know, it may be in a couple of years or a couple of months. We never know.
But you see throughout the West, the democratic system controlled by authoritarians, excluding people from the system. You see with Marine Le Pen right now in France. You were just knocked out of the debates. Georgescu in Romania, arrested for running on a populist position, the most popular politician in the country, and he's arrested because he's the most popular. Yeah. So they're basically denying people a democratic outlet for their frustrations. They're saying, even your voting, this country, they stole the 2020 election, obviously. They're basically not allowing people any way to express their views at all. And that seems like a scary thing to do.
Well, we can have another freedom convoy in Canada. That was very successful. And, that was successful because at the end, we were able to stop these draconian measures on us with that freedom convoy. So maybe something like that can happen. A very peaceful protest in Canada saying to our politicians, enough is enough. It can happen. Yeah.